Hey guys, Lance here. This is going to be a really quick one, but I thought I'd make a follow-up video to my Acer Predator X34a review, as a few of you guys were calling me out on a couple of things I got wrong. Now, those actually came down to being a hardware fault with the Acer Predator, and if you look behind me here, it suffered a pretty bad failure. So I have replaced it with a different monitor. I'll get into that later on. But I wanted to talk about the problems I was having and my experience with documented issues with the Acer Predator X34, including the A revision, which I had, and also rectify some of those things I got wrong. Now, a couple of things I got wrong during my review that a few people pointed out was the fact that I couldn't set custom resolutions, such as 2560 by 1080, which is used by the Acer Predator Z35. Now, people have been able to do that fine, and it seems to have just been my monitor, possibly because of some of the other issues I was having. The other thing that was pointed out was the fact that I couldn't get G-Sync to work at 100 Hz. No matter what, it would always revert to 60 Hz in NVIDIA control panel if I turned on G-Sync. Other people have said that what I stated wasn't the case, it wasn't a one or the other situation, and I wanted to correct that as well. One little side note I would like to point out is the Acer Predator would not work with my Mac whatsoever, even with my eGPU. Now, this other monitor I've got back here is the ROG Swift PG348Q, so their equivalent 34-inch ultra-wide monitor. That works completely fine with my Mac with the eGPU, so that's another little side note there. Now I wanted to discuss some of the issues I was having with this monitor that a lot of people are having similar symptoms to. Now, first of all, the monitor was completely fine for about 2 weeks. I then started having issues where it would flick to a black screen and it would come right after a few seconds. That started gradually getting worse. Sort of after half an hour of use, it would just keep flicking black, more and more often until the screen would just completely go black and I'd get no display output. Powering the monitor off, unplugging it from the power that is, and leaving it for a couple of hours would sort of reset it, and I could use it for another 30 minutes or so. But along with that, when that issue started happening, I could not get 100 Hz on the monitor. I would overclock it in the on-screen display, and I wouldn't be able to set it in NVIDIA control panel, or on the very rare occasion where I could, I'd select it and I'd just get black screen with no display output. I thought it could have been an issue with my overclock, so I set my graphics cards, my two GTX 970s, back to the default clocks, and the same issue persisted. I replaced the DisplayPort cables. I tried 3 different cables from Amazon. They were all advertised as good quality, and I'd seen other people online using without issues, and I was still getting the same symptoms. So at this point I thought it could have been a number of issues, so I just decided to replace the SSD in my PC. I actually had a spare one that I was wanting to put in anyway. Clean install of Windows, and all I installed was the NVIDIA and graphics drivers. I was still facing the same issue, so I updated the VBIOS on my graphics cards and still the same problem. No overclocking and the intermittent black screen issue. So I got in touch with Acer support, who basically told me to take it for service, and I just didn't want to bother with it anymore. I decided I'd return it back to the place of purchase, who I called and said they were happy for me to return it. In fact, they told me that every single one of these they'd sold had been returned. So I was organising returning it, and I was moving the screen, and it pivots quite freely, you can see here, and this pivoted and hit the back corner of my PC case, and there is a very tiny crack back here. So this whole portion here of the monitor is completely unusable. You probably can't see it at the moment, but it flickers, it's got funny colours and funny lines, and there is also a couple of lines that go the whole length across. So I did claim contents insurance, which paid out, and I used to buy the ROG Swift 34-inch ultra-wide monitor, and that seems to be way less buggy, way less glitchy, and seems to be hassle-free. I've had it for several weeks now, and it's lasted longer than the Acer Predator. I don't doubt that there are good Acer Predator monitors out there. It just seems that I've got a dud and a lot of people online seem to be experiencing very similar issues to what I had. I did also make a post on the Acer Predator forums. I'll put a link in the description below for anyone that wants to see the full extent of troubleshooting and things I went through and the issues I was having. But I thought I'd make this really quick video to explain to you guys and show you guys the issues I was having that a lot of people seem to have, and also rectify those mistakes I made in my initial review. But like I said, this would be a quick one. I do have a review coming of the PG34AQ from Asus, and thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.